First thing I want to say is this is especially fun for me because I am actually talking from the front steps of my childhood home, 340 Hollywood Avenue, where I used to, as a kid, perform plays for my next door neighbors, and now here I am standing on the same steps, actually sharing some of my love about the House of Shine and the role that it has played in my, life. I have this very strong belief that as we grow older, in the words of Marcus Buckingham, we don't change, we just become more so. And that is to say that who we were as kids is really who we are as adults. Coming here to my childhood home and exploring and looking and reviewing the artifacts is my way of helping to connect these dots so that I can see that who I was as a young person is exactly who I am today, doing all the same things, but in a more sophisticated, if you will, and kind of grown-up way. But evidence dates back to really when I was 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 years old. This is my mother and father's bedroom. So I made these. I did one for my mom and one for my dad, and they were all the reasons that they were the apple of my eye. So these are my mom's. So this one says, teaching me the best way to stay creative is never using the same idea twice. She was a creative. My mom was completely a creative, and she used, every opportunity to kind of flex her creative muscles. So I think that's where I got a lot of my creativity from. This was my older sister's bedroom, and later on my bedroom. So this box, my mom would have saved, which is just kind of funny. So I made her a present. I put it in this winter, summer, spring, and fall. She is the one who just helped me learn art, really. And I'm not a great artist, but I'm not scared of it either. She would have been the one to have taught me years and years ago. Don't cut leaves out and make them symmetrical. Just tear them out of the paper, because that's really what it would be. Same with the trees. I just tore them out of paper instead of really making them perfect. This is my childhood bedroom, and it looks completely different now. I shared this room with my middle sister, Ellen, so I'm the youngest, Ellen the middle. So there were bunk beds on this wall, first of all. We shared bunk beds. I always slept on the bottom. She always slept on the top because she was scared that it would break, and if it did, she wanted me to be on the bottom. And so that I would be the one that was killed. Anyway, those were our fun bunk beds. And then over here, there was a table that jetted out right here. And this table, it was just this clean top with lots of space. We would sit up here and we would do art. Book report covers and draw pictures, and that's what we would just do. Hours and hours and hours. And I am 100% certain that these hours of unstructured time with just a clean sheet of white typing paper and crayons, these are all the things that just gave me the freedom to explore and to be creative as a kid. Okay, so across this way was Lydia Terry, and she would come to stay many winters. And so my mom had this great idea that we were going to cut out of big red construction paper letters the word play. And then we hung them from this window so that it would face Lydia. And so I would turn the sign around and I would ask her if she could play. And then she would put a note in the window saying yes back. And then we would know that we could get together and play. And so just super fun childhood memories. Another artifact that I came across today that just really brought up memories were a couple things. One was a chalkboard that hung in my room. My best friend Laura and I would play school in this room, and we would use that chalkboard, and we would set up the room so that it looked like we had students in here, and we would use my dad's blue books from when he was teaching, just kind of, again, play school, which I think is funny because, of course, I'm still playing school, teaching in my own way, in my own, kind of form right now at the House of Shine. This is a photo album from when I was growing up in high school. Here's the piñata! Oh my gosh, I love it. There's so many things wrapped up in this piñata. Look at how young I was, and still I was, even at this age, working with young girls, which I still love doing and is a big part of the work that we do at the House of Shine. But it was about creating community, creating an experience, creating big moments for people, and doing it for as far back as I can remember. Oh, wait, let's see what's in here. I have an arrow pointing in there. Let's see what it says, because I don't know. It's almost impossible to grow up with someone and not inherit some of their traits. Yet at the same time, it's impossible to gain a trait because of the atmosphere or someone around you. I guess I meant environment. Oh, I guess that was me philosophizing. I don't know. These, I'm realizing, when I was in graduate school and we had to do this game whereby these descriptors were on postcard, or were on these index cards, and somebody drew one and then had to give it to the person in the circle who they thought it most applied to. So this one, for instance, says the person, so somebody gave this to me, the person who tries the hardest. See how simple? The power of a note. The power of a note. I've always been busy. And people are always trying to tell me to relax. When I was in college, I worked at the Yogurt Oasis. This is an example of a poster I would make. Anyway, I organized this photograph and took this. And so again, just what does that mean? It's just another example of how I'm always like organizing community, people, bringing people together, creative, you know, blah, blah, blah. Claudia K, program wizard. Because again, I was always programming. What's interesting about it is that fast forward, now I'm in my 50s and I'm still hosting programs. And the programs can come in the form of a rise and shine, or it can come in the form of, you know, an experience that we're creating for kids or mothers and daughters, or even our classroom curriculum. It really all comes down to the same thing, which is programming. This was a letter that I found in my trunk that I wrote to a friend of mine while I was on semester at sea, and it's dated 10/16/1991. So it says, I want to find something that I feel so strongly about that I can invest my life in the cause. Sometimes I think I get frustrated with myself because I don't know what the cause is yet. I think it will definitely have something to do with education in America, but I'm not sure what. Well, now I am. Pretty great, right? This is my childhood backyard, and while it looks nothing like it did when I was growing up, there are still elements and remnants of it from when I was a kid. This is where all the real action happened. This was the best. We were kind of the house that all kids congregated at because my mom did such an amazing job of filling it with items that she knew young kids would love to play with and just occupy their days. Right here, there was a big old metal boat that she drudged up from a local pond, and she restored it a little bit and painted it, and we would sit in here and have picnic lunches. I remember that. And there was a seesaw somewhere in here, and there was a swing set up against that back fence, and that was the most critical piece because we would just swing and swing and swing for hours. My mom would hire an artist to teach art classes to all the neighborhood kids, and we would hang the art up on these bulletin boards while they dried. So many summer days out here as a kid, just enjoying myself with my friends. So this is what's amazing. Two people grew up a mile away from each other, same age, and yet at 52, back together. So I do believe that we don't change that much. I believe that kind of who we are as adults is a more developed version of who we are as kids.
To know Claudia is to know she likes Haagen-Dazs.
Oh my gosh, that's it. I worked there for so many years. We're trying to teach people that at the youngest of ages, you can identify, self-identify, raise your own self-awareness about who you are, what you like, what you care about, what you're good at, what you don't enjoy, and you can craft your own life that is fulfilling around those things.
You have always been positive, always. And somehow always let anyone around you know that they were great. And that's probably what attracted me to you, because being from the lifestyle I was from, you weren't given the, you can do it, you know, you're great. You just made me always feel I could do it.
Yeah. Okay.
You can do it. You just have to want who you can do it. And when I sell myself short, you wouldn't put up with it.
And that's true. And I tell that to my kids all the time too. I'm proud of who they pick out as their friends. And my parents used to say that to me when I was a kid, that we love the friends that you pick out for yourself, that we're proud of the friends that you have. And they even still ask me. Just the other day I was with my dad and he said, so how are your friends doing? Tell me about your friends. He still asks. And I think that is really, I always surrounded myself by really good people. And Yeah, I say all the time that I'm not great at 100 things, but I'm a really good talent scout, which I just feel like I'm really good at picking out people who are just good. They're just at their core good people.
Claudia always had the nicest pencils. They glittered, they did this, they did stickers everywhere, and she decorated everything with stickers.
Okay.
And if you opened a birthday card, be prepared to vacuum because all the confetti would fall from them. I always knew if something in the mail was from you. I think you've always been a positive person. I don't think I really ever remember you being angry or mad, I've seen you be angry at a few little things, but nothing that stayed with you.
I believe that because I believe we're uniquely wired from almost the time we're born with talents and gifts. We either cultivate them and develop them, or we lose sight of them and we lose track of them. And so the work of the House of Shine is really designed to help people stay connected to them so that they can live out their purpose. So this stop that we're on right now in the Douglaston Manor, this is what I call the back road, and it is very special to me because my father and another woman actually created this Udall's Cove Park, and he was one of the driving forces behind the push to preserve this environmental treasure. And I found this in the garage right before we were leaving the house today, and I just thought it was such a great memory, so I thought we'd come here and just commemorate this spot, but also the work of my father and my mother, who was also a helper and coordinator of the annual cleanup. Here we are at the dock, and this is kind of the culminating point of our day here in the Douglaston Manor. We came along the side road, which we call the Point. It is the most beautiful, picturesque place. I feel so lucky to have grown up here, and really what this community has taught me is the value and the importance of community. This is where I would spend the vast majority of my summers, playing with my friends in the water, playing cards on the side on our towels, getting ice cream from Mr. Softy, and just overall enjoying the small community that I lived in. How can you live here in this beautiful place, in this beautiful environment, and not have a total love and appreciation for nature? I think this is where it absolutely was cultivated for me from the very get-go. When I look back over my life in a backwards retrospective kind of way, I can see how all of the dots have connected and added up and taken me to where I am today. And some of those dots begin in my childhood. They begin with the love of community and the awards that I won during 4th of July races, and the chalkboard that was in my room and my pretending that I was a teacher, or the creative that was so nurtured in me as a child because of my mother and all of the art supplies that she would have around the house. These are how our dots connect and help tell the story of who we are meant to be.